Jurassic World Rebirth introduced the most terrifying creature ever to be seen in the franchise, the Distortus Rex, a huge, hulking monstrosity born from genetic experimentation gone wrong, a mutant that's lived out its life in solitude, casting a looming shadow of horror on the island. And even at the end of the film, it stood tall as the ruler of Isla Nublar. But that raises a question fans have been debating ever since the credits rolled. Is the Distortus Rex the most powerful dinosaur in the entire franchise? Because while it may be the latest monster to step into the spotlight, it's not the only one to wear that crown. There's one challenger that's been impossible to ignore: the INDOMINUS Rex. The original hybrid terror, the creature that tore Jurassic World apart from the inside. Smart, brutal, and practically unstoppable, it broke containment and slaughtered its way across Nublar with terrifying precision. This thing hunted for sport, outsmarted every attempt to control it, and pushed humanity off the island. Even now, its legacy still echoes throughout the series. So that brings us to the question: if the INDOMINUS Rex were to face off against the Distortus Rex, who would win? Today we're going to break it all down. We'll compare their size, strength, intelligence, and agility, and we'll look at their battle experience, their killing power, and just how much fear they command. And by the end of it, we'll reach a definitive answer to the question: which one truly deserves the title of the most powerful dinosaur in the Jurassic franchise? Two monsters, one crown. This is Distortus Rex versus INDOMINUS Rex. Let's find out who comes out on top. Of course, remember to subscribe and hit that notification button, because 70% of you aren't, and we need to close that gap. Come on guys, let's get it sorted. First, let's compare their sheer size. Distortus Rex stands at a whopping 8.1 meters, that's 26.6 feet tall, and comes in at a length of 14.5 meters, which is approximately 47.6 feet, which is even larger than a double-decker bus, and it has a mass of 20,000 pounds, which is a massive 10 tons. The INDOMINUS Rex, however, is approximately 6.7 meters tall, that's 22 feet, with a length of 55 feet, and according to Jurassic World Evolution 2, this creature has a weight of 5.7 tons, meaning the Distortus Rex is heavier and taller than the INDOMINUS Rex. So for size, we're going to give D-Rex the points. But will its extra weight prove to be a hindrance later in the comparison? You'll have to wait and see. Now, this is where it gets tricky, because the sheer strength of Distortus Rex hasn't quite been demonstrated. However, we did see the D-Rex effortlessly stop the Jeep as it was driving at approximately 20 miles an hour. It delivered 225,000 newtons of force onto its target, which would be enough to knock over a mid-sized dinosaur. To bring this 2.5-ton beast of steel to a dead stop at 20 miles an hour would require a counterforce of over 225,000 newtons. That's the kind of impact power you'd expect from a charging elephant, meaning the D-Rex has immense power that it only barely demonstrated in the film. Yet, even those fleeting moments were enough to show just how physically dominant this creature really is. We also see that in the facility, when the power went down and the security systems went offline, it completely tore apart its enclosure, leaving nothing behind. So it had the capability of completely tearing through the thick metal walls, keeping it in place. We also witness it pull a helicopter right out of the sky and throw it at such a force where it explodes into a giant ball of flame on impact. Clearly those large muscles are useful for more than just walking. So what did INDOMINUS do that compares to this? When it comes to just raw physical strength, the INDOMINUS Rex stands as one of the most powerful creatures the Jurassic franchise has ever seen. It carried enough muscle mass to exert devastating force with every movement. Designed through genetic engineering, it wasn't just large, it was built for overwhelming brute strength, capable of breaking through almost any obstacle in its path. One of the clearest displays of its power was its brutal slaughter of an entire herd of Apatosaurus, animals that each weighed over 20 tons. The Indominus didn't just kill, it crushed, lifted, and tossed those massive creatures with alarming ease. Throughout its rampage, it tore down reinforced gates, smashed through containment walls, and flipped vehicles. Feats that require upwards of 20,000 newtons of applied force, all achieved with seemingly minimal effort. Its strength was incredibly impressive. Based on what was demonstrated in the film, it's safe to say that Indominus Rex can hold its own in a fight as the apex predator of Isla Nublar. But whilst Indominus was given a better opportunity to showcase its sheer power, the Distortus is just physically larger, has more mass, and with those long human arms, it's physically capable of achieving greater feats. If the Indominus Rex is like a fighter jet, Distortus Rex is like a tank, bulkier, heavier, and stronger. This point goes to the Distortus. Though it's worth remembering the D-Rex was a mistake, a genetic abnormality, one of the stepping stones that led to the creation of the Indominus Rex. It should be expected that Indominus is a more refined creature, though that doesn't mean Distortus doesn't shine as an absolute beast. Now, when it comes to intelligence, there is a clear winner. The Indominus Rex demonstrated genuine cunning throughout Jurassic World. It was thinking, planning its escape, manipulating its environment, and even setting traps. One of the most telling examples was how it dealt with the Ankylosaurus. After realizing its armor was too tough to penetrate, it quickly flipped it over and went straight for the exposed neck. That's not just brute force, that's calculated problem solving. In contrast, the Distortus Rex appears to suffer from more than just physical deformities. Its behavior suggests cognitive impairments, possibly the result of its unstable genetic makeup. It seems incapable of hunting large prey, and has a strange compulsion to follow bright lights, a trait that severely limits its strategic ability. When the gates open, we see it even just observing Zora's team. It was more curious than outright violent. While it may be terrifying in presence, it doesn't show the same level of awareness or adaptability as the Indominus Rex. So in terms of brain power, this one's no contest. Indominus Rex takes the win easily. Now on to agility. Once again, the Indominus Rex proved itself to be extremely capable in this category. Despite its massive size, it moved with shocking speed and precision, capable of running at 30 miles an hour, leaping over obstacles, and outmaneuvering other dinosaurs with ease. Able to dart through forested terrain, evade attacks, and close the distance between itself and its prey in a matter of seconds. For a creature of its size, the Indominus displayed an agility that was completely unnatural and terrifyingly effective. By comparison, the Distortus Rex was an entirely different kind of creature. Its sheer bulk, combined with a mutated second pair of limbs, made its movements heavy and uncoordinated. Rather than striking with speed, it advanced with a slow, deliberate pace, less like a predator and more like a moving wall of destruction. It didn't stalk or chase its prey, it stomped whatever crossed its path. But when it comes to agility, it simply doesn't compare. The D-Rex just wasn't designed for speed. So, in this category, there's no question, the Indominus takes the crown for agility, hands down. Now, in terms of durability, both these titans go toe-to-toe. In the opening of Rebirth, we see them firing lethals at the D-Rex. However, they're no use, with the bullets bouncing right off its tough skin. When it snatched the helicopter, it also likely took the full force of the sharp rotary blades, and there's no evidence that it actually pierced the skin, making this thing a real tough monster. With the Indominus Rex, however, we see firearms also having very little effect, doing nothing but irritating the beast. Later into the film, we see an RPG knock this thing over, but outside some light burns, it comes off unscathed. The Indominus goes through hell throughout the film, crashing through enclosures with ease, battling various heavy dinosaurs, machine guns, rocket launchers, raptors, and a T-Rex, and it still remains standing. The only thing that could take it down was the kaiju-sized Mosasaurus, which no doubt would turn the D-Rex into a dino-sized lunch as well. So based purely on the amount of feats, we're gonna have to give this one to Indominus Rex. But it's a close call. Now for fear factor, This one has an obvious winner. While the INDOMINUS Rex is an imposing and undoubtedly terrifying creature, being incredibly strong, fast, agile, tough, with dozens of razor-sharp teeth in a mouth the size of a Jeep. But the Distortus Rex is just something else entirely. This thing is wrong in every way. It lumbers forward like some kind of prehistoric Frankenstein's monster, its movements jerky and unnatural, as if even its own body is struggling to hold itself together. It doesn't roar, it screams, a warped, distorted shriek that sounds more like pain than dominance. Every part of its appearance is unsettling, like it was never meant to exist. A mistake brought to life. You don't look at the D-Rex and think predator, you look at it, your stomach drops, and you think monster. It's definitely one that'll leave a permanent scar on your psyche. So when it comes to fear factor, this one isn't even close. Distortus Rex takes the crown. When it comes to weaponry, the INDOMINUS Rex has a clear advantage. This hybrid was crossbred with so many different animals that it has a seemingly limitless supply of tools to use at its disposal. Not only does it have sharp claws, powerful bite, and heightened intelligence, but it comes equipped with camouflage, which comes in handy when it comes to outsmarting your opponents and flanking them from behind. But it even has the ability to mimic the calls of dromaeosaurs, since it's also part raptor, meaning that it can call for backup and create a group of raptors to take down its prey. However, for this fight, we won't be accounting for additional raptors, since it's a 1v1. The Distortus has a more simple array of weaponry, including its powerful bite, which is likely even more powerful than the INDOMINUS Rex, thanks to it being mainly T-Rex DNA, which has the most powerful bite of any terrestrial animal in history. It of course sports those massive arms, which gives it an advantage when it comes to mobility and combat, being able to slash and maim at an even greater distance. However, Distortus doesn't really sport any unique abilities like INDOMINUS Rex, so for that reason, INDOMINUS gets this win easy. For battle record, you only need to have seen the film to know the sheer body count of the INDOMINUS Rex. Including Camp Cretaceous, INDOMINUS has at least 34 kills, including 6 apatosaurs, 2 velociraptors, and an ankylosaurus. That's not even counting the likely many off-screen deaths from employees at the park. In comparison, Distortus Rex killed 4 people in the opening, killed another handful of people in the helicopter, and at the end of the film, 8 Martin Krebs. So when it comes to their battle record, INDOMINUS has the most impressive resume. So what's the final verdict for this face-off? Distortus Rex comes in with 3 points, and INDOMINUS Rex comes ahead with 5, meaning INDOMINUS is the clear victor in this fight. While D-Rex is a terrifying, imposing, hulking tank of a dinosaur, it comes with many clear disadvantages due to it being a mistake, something that was never meant to exist, a mere stepping stone in the creation of INDOMINUS Rex. The I-Rex is smarter, more cunning, faster, has more weapons, and is an all-out ruthless killing machine, going from target to target, mercilessly slaying its enemies. There's a reason it effortlessly took down Jurassic World, and it's going to take a lot for its crown to be taken. But what do you think could take down this king? And who would you like to see fight next? Let us know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of Dangerville today. And give this vid a big thumbs up if you want more face-off videos. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.